Hello folks, this is Sula speaking. You're listening to another video for Teamfight Tactics. I am back now from vacation. I obviously was not playing Teamfight Tactics while away on vacation in Hawaii, but back now, kind of getting back into the usual groove again, and I'm going to share some Teamfight Tactics footage. This is actually taken from the first game I played after coming back from being away, and it was just kind of a, relaxing, normal, chill game, so I decided I'd go ahead, share some of this footage, and we'll talk a little bit about what's been going on in Teamfight Tactics. So I recorded some video footage for this game right before I left, and the irony about that is I recorded two games that I played right when a patch came out, and it turned out that that patch was only live for about 12 hours, and then a hotfix nerf came out that nerfed Volibear in particular and made a couple of other changes. So I kind of ended up with like this little time capsule of this very brief point in time where Volibear walked the earth and was really overtuned. But I had recorded that right before going away and kind of queued up these videos, so they were still getting posted like a week later. So since that footage was recorded, there was this emergency hotfix patch. Then there was another B patch, and we're actually getting ready for yet another normal patch. This game, I've mentioned before, gets patched at a kind of an unbelievable rate how often they patch this game. The version that you're seeing here is a version where dragons were very dominant, and it's in something that I've been following along while I've been away. But it's been a version of the game where, in particular, Siphon and Shiou have been very dominant, and people have been playing around those particular dragons, and it's kind of been shaping the gameplay in a major way. There's actually not what I'm going to end up playing in this game. I'm going to end up playing a team comp that's not heavily dragon focused, but just wanted to grab some footage and showcase this, and we'll talk a little bit about some of those changes and why those dragons have been so dominant in this patch version. They will almost certainly get nerfed. I mentioned there's another patch that's going to be out shortly after this gets posted, but there's been a period of about 2 weeks where they've kind of been dominating the metagame. In this particular game, I was able to take a bow off the initial carousel. I saw that there was a bow on a Senna, and I said, that sounds like some pretty good synergy. And then I got another bow plus a rod here. So I was like, all right, well, that's obviously Rage Blade for one of my items. And then I think I will try to make Giant Slayer with that other item. So here on the initial augment, you're going to see me take the Cannoneer Heart. I don't think that Cannoneer is especially strong. I think Cannoneer Heart is not normally a very good choice. But I want the Cannoneer Heart here, not so much because I want +1 Cannoneers. It's not terrible or anything. But I want the +1 Cannoneers because it's going to give me a Tristana. So I'm mostly taking this initial silver augment just to get Tristana as a champion. That's because I already had the Lulu pop up in my drop from the last minion round. And anytime that you see Lulu pop up, you should often be thinking, hey, I'd like to play Trainer here. This looks like a good game to play Trainers. Just because Lulu is a great unit. She's a very useful support unit. Has the Trainer tag, has the Mystic tag, has the Evoker tag. She just fits into many, many team compositions. And by getting her from a drop, well, I guess it was the last minion stage, 1-4, you can start stacking up Trainer very early on. In particular, in a Cannoneers setup, you oftentimes want to play Trainer because you're going to be playing Tristana. But then the problem is you have to run Heimer, who's kind of a useless unit in the team composition, if you want to get Trainer tag in play. You know, you can run Trist plus Heimer to get Trainer in and start stacking up Namzi. But like, you don't really want to run Heimer long-term in the team composition. I mean, he does provide some crowd control with his ability, and he provides some damage, but like, he's just not all that strong of a unit. So you would really like to be able to play Lulu instead, but obviously Lulu being a 3-cost unit, normally you will not have access to her. So getting her as a drop from the last minion stage, really, really nice. Then the only piece I was missing was the Tristana, so I just got it from my augment. And with it just being a silver augment, I can take it for just the Tristana. And let's face it, +1 Cannoneer is not bad. It's kind of a weak option as far as augments go. So I mostly have taken this just to get the champion, and I'm actually quite happy with how that's working out here. I've got a pretty strong front line. I managed to, I randomed my way into a completely random 2-star Sejuani. So she's going to be a nice frontline tank on her own. Plus, she'll also give everybody, I think it's 100 health everybody gets from the guild benefit. So she can stand up there in front line, and then she'll get replaced eventually, but she'll be able to hang in there for the time being. I also have a Skarner there, and so I'm thinking level 5, maybe I can put in the Tom Kench. That would make Bruiser trait, give everybody a little bit of additional health, a little bit more front line, or maybe we can find something else from there. Of course, Tom Kench also provides Revel, but I don't even have Jinx on the board right now, so putting in Tom would not actually get me the Revel trait, just Bruiser, but we'll keep him around regardless because it's a unit we're going to want to play long term. Obviously, this means that I am thinking that I'm going to go into a Corki build from here, but we will have to see what turns up. I could like these items are very flexible. As I said, I'm trying to build Giant Slayer Rageblade. That can be played on just about any AD champion right now. It could be played on Xayah very easily. It could be played on some of the dragons that people have been playing. Those are not bad items on Xiaoyu or Siphon, although they wouldn't be considered best in slot on either of them, but they would be playable items. And of course, I have not actually picked up the Giant Slayer yet. I still have the option to turn this into a Titans if I were to get a Chain Vest. So if I have Rageblade plus Titans, those are very, very good items on either Siphon or Xiaoyu. So I'm not anticipating heading in that direction. After all, the Cannoneer emblem would be totally useless if I end up going in that direction, but it is a possibility. I mean, if I get Siphon at 2% odds, then I could easily shift into that. This is a super close fight. I was hoping I could win this one, but nope. 2-star Ezreal with the Rageblade, just barely able to defeat my board. I knew that fight would be close. I was hoping I had just barely enough damage to clutch it out, but nope, not the case. So unfortunately, my potential win streak, I wasn't on much of a win streak, it is going to end up coming to a close. And what's bad about this loss is it stops me from win streaking. It's also a loss right in the middle of the stage, so that if I win the last 2 rounds, I'm still not on a big streak. And by taking 2 damage, I don't even get higher carousel priority. I'm still last pick. So I'm looking at what's here. I was like, man, can I actually get that Varus? Was it a 3-cost unit with a sword? I think that's a Varus back there. So I was hoping to get the sword, but it does finally get taken. I mean, I didn't really anticipate getting a sword to last until the last pick. So I'm going to go ahead and take this belt here because the belt is nicely flexible. That can be used for a whole bunch of different frontline items. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and make 2-star Skarner. That's nice. And then I have the option to play either Jinx or Tom Kench. Can play either one of these units, or I could also dump the Sejuani and then play Jinx plus Tom. But I don't think that it's the right decision to dump the Sedge. A 2-star Sedge is going to be pretty useful right now, and she also has, of course, that guild benefit. So I opt to play the Tom Kench over the Jinx because Jinx is just not really that good of a unit. This means that I have more frontline, but it does mean I have a little bit less in the way of damage. Jinx just mostly played for her traits. That has been the case throughout set 7 thus far. Perhaps that will change at some point, but so far she's really just played for her traits. She is not a unit that you play to deal damage. All right, so I'm up against this person, and they're actually getting really good value out of their makeshift armor right now. They have like this very tanky frontline. They also had the targeting dummies, and the targeting dummies do benefit from makeshift armor. So I am not able to cut through that team fast enough. And their 2-star Nidalee with good Nidalee items is in fact going to be able to win that round. So a little bit disappointing, but I guess I'm not able to go on a big win streak here. So I'm just kind of sitting here chilling. I think I'm in pretty good shape overall. We're going to look to build towards this Cannoneer plus Revel, probably Corki team comp unless something pops up. I'm looking at some of these other teams. I'm seeing a lot of people playing Astral in this setup. I think there's like 3 or 4 people playing Astral, which I really don't recommend. So that's actually kind of a good thing. I think there's 2 people that are rerolling Nidalee. It's actually pretty good for me that multiple people are rerolling Nidalee because they'll be contesting for the same units. And like, here's another person playing Astral. I don't think this person's playing Nidalee. They seem to just be playing straight Astral, which I wouldn't recommend because I don't think that's very good. By the way, this person gets off an amazing Varus chain of constellations, which is what they've renamed as Chain of Corruption in this set. Like, they actually have a decent setup here, but they're playing too many Astral units. You don't want to play this many Astral units. And they've gone ahead and made Spear of Shojin on Varus, which is not a very good item on him. Doesn't really make sense to put a Spear of Shojin on him. I mean, I guess it's not terrible, but he certainly would prefer some more damage instead. So fortunately, this person has kind of misitemized their board. So we're able to win even though we do not have as many 2-stars as they do. So overall, it's a pretty good stage 2. I was not able to go on a big win streak, but I only lost 8 health, and I've been able to get very good items here, like the Rageblade plus Bow, really good. I've got a belt that can build into a Warmogs or a Sunfire. Either one would be quite nice, and we'll just see where we go from here. But pretty happy with how this start has opened up. Nobody is on a big win streak. Like, nobody's on a huge 5-match win streak or something. So looking pretty good thus far. And now we want to see what we get out of these minion rounds. So the item I most want is a sword. I would really like to make Giant Slayer. I'm going to get a glove instead. That's slightly less useful, but maybe I can make use out of that long term. I'm going to get a Rise and a Swain drop. I can't really use either of them, but I can sell them for gold, and then I get an item remover, which is like, item remover. So this is nice because it means I'm not going to have to sell Trist if I find a Corki. I can just item remove these items off, and then I can hold on to the Tristana anyway. By the way, one other note here I have to point out here. You may have noticed I have not seen a single Tristana thus far. So that was making me feel really, really good that I had taken that Cannoneer augment and gotten +1 Trist from that, because otherwise I would not have been able to play Trainer at all. So I'm quite happy with how that worked. By the way, I'm watching this person who is clearly playing Nidalee reroll. They're just rolling down here on level 4. And they're actually rolling quite a bit of gold. They're not having a lot of luck finding Nidalee, and I think it's because a number of people have already taken Nidalees out of the pool. So I'm very happy with what I'm seeing here. I thought this person had the scariest setup because they have good items to play Nidalee. They've got the Rage Blade and the Death Blade. Those are the items that Nidalee wants. Last item, typically, it's either Quicksilver Sash, could be Infinity Edge instead. Although I think people often build Bloodthirster in that last spot, so maybe they're going to go Hand of Justice. But I'm hitting this person at a good time. They have not hit the 3-star Nidalee. They're rolling it down on level 4, and they kind of haven't hit. So they're going to have to wait, build up some more gold, and roll again. I think they've got 7 Nidalees and 7 Vlads that they've found so far. But yeah, they're only level 4, and they're about to hit level 5 there, because you have to hit level 5 by 3-2. Anyway, here I'm looking at these options. I was like, you know what? Phony Frontline sounds pretty decent. Let's just take that. And then, okay then. We're going to get the 2% odds Corki. All right, so it's definitely a Corki game now. That's not even a question of it. So let's just go ahead and move those items over to Corki. So that's the high roll moment from the game here, you guys. Hitting the Corki at 2% odds. So we don't even have to decide whether to play Trist or Corki. We're just going to play both of them. So that works for me. And for some reason, I think I forgot that I already had Tahm Kench on the board. I was debating whether to sell the Sedge, but I think I forgot that I already had Tahm Kench in there. So I'm going to keep Jinx on the bench for right now and continue playing the Sejuani. But for whatever reason, I think I just forgot that I already had Tahm Kench in there. I was debating, like, should I put in Tahm? But I already had Tahm Kench in. And I think that holding the Sejuani was definitely the correct decision for right now. I can look to play Jinx at level 7. She does give me a rank of Cannoneer and a rank of Rebel, but she's just not that useful of a unit. All right, other stuff I should mention. So I was debating whether to level 6 on 3-1. I scouted the 3 opponents I could face and decided not to because I thought I could beat them all. That did work out. Here's another case where scouting is important. I'm scouting the 3 comps that I can potentially hit, and I see that this person has a Kiana positioned on the right side of the board, so I swap Corki over to the left side. And as a result, the Kiana ends up jumping at nothing, and we're going to be able to beat this person. And they're level 6, 0 gold. So that person is not in good shape economically. I'm actually really happy I was able to beat that person, considering that they were level 6, 0 gold, whereas I have not rolled at all. And I have not rolled at all because I am hitting in this game. Now, I might have rolled on level 6 if I was not hitting, but I'm hitting pretty hard. 2-star Sedge, 2-star Skarner. I have not seen Tristanas, but I hit the 2-star Corki, or I hit the Corki at 2% odds on level 6. Or actually, no, I was actually level 5 at the time. I was actually level 5 when I hit that. So I'm hitting pretty hard, so I don't feel like I need to roll. So we'll just preserve Econ here. Not in any danger health-wise. By the way, this is a normal game, so someone's already quit the lobby. So yeah, people do that sometimes in normal games. I guess I've seen people do it in ranked as well, but it's less common in ranked. And this is the person that beat me before. I guess 2 people beat me before, but this is the person who's running Nidalee. They have the makeshift armor with the target dummies, which is a nice combo, and then they have also taken Ascension. So their board looks pretty strong. I actually don't like the itemization on Nidalee. If they're planning to go reroll Nidalee, then this is not good itemization because Nidalee just will not have enough damage. With like double Rage Blade plus Bloodthirster, she won't have enough damage long term, even if she gets 3-starred. But it doesn't look like they're planning to play Nidalee long term. It looks like this is just a transition comp because look, they're level 6 with 40 gold in the bank. So pretty clearly they're just playing the Nidalee as an early game transition, and then they're going to move out of the Nidalee long term. So that's kind of scary. We'll have to see what they ultimately decide to go into. But clearly they're playing strongest board right now, and I think this is one of the more dangerous people in the lobby. By the way, that loss has given me one beneficial thing, though, because someone quit the lobby and I got knocked down to 86 health.
that means that I actually get the, the third pick on this carousel, and I'm able to get a sword on an Elise. I was like, wow, I can't believe that I'm getting a 3 gold sword right here on third pick, but I was able to get it, so I'll take it, and I will happily make a Giant Slayer on this Corki. All right, so here you're going to see me make my biggest mistake of the game. I hit the 2-star Jinx, and I was like, all right, well, time to play the Jinx. Let's move out of the Sejuani. So then I go to put in the Tom, and I was like, oh, I already have Tom in. Again, for some reason, I thought I did not have Tom Kench on the board. So I think the correct play there was do not sell Sedge, just level to 7 early, because it'll give me better odds to find Dragon units, and it would also keep Sedge on the board, put the 2-star Jinx in, and give me better odds to find 3-cost units. I would go down to like 25 gold, but I think that would be perfectly appropriate in this situation to do that, even though I was not on a streak. But so I think that was my biggest mistake of the game. Should have kept in Sedge, should have just gone to level 7, played the extra unit, and then I would have been in a stronger position. So I've weakened my front line here. But I mean, like, this is not terrible, don't get me wrong. It puts in Revel trait. I've got 3 Revel, 4 Cannoneer, and like that's not bad. For this stage of the game especially, that's a lot of additional damage, but I do think it was a mistake to move out of the Sejuani that soon and to sell the 2-star Sedge. So, oh well, I've weakened my front line. The good news is I am going to be stronger in terms of economy, but I'm going to be a little bit weaker in terms of board strength. And it's just one of those things that you have to look at in retrospect and think about, was this the right decision? So I think it was the wrong decision, but this is a normal game, and some of the boards I'm seeing are maybe not quite as strong as in maybe ranked play. As far as people ranked this game, it was mostly people in gold, and there was 1 person in plat 1. I think it was like 4 people in gold, 1 person in high platinum. I don't know how that matches up with my current ranking because I haven't played very many ranked games in this set so far. But yeah, maybe some suboptimal decisions here. I'm just, again, scouting some of these other boards. You can see there is someone who has now hit the 3-star Nidalee, so I'm glad I have the Giant Slayer. Also glad I'm not hitting that person right now. I much rather would place this board, which looks significantly weaker than the person who has 3-star Nidalee. So I'm pretty content with this. I'm pretty sure I can beat this board. Looks like they're trying to play Swain, but I don't think their setup is that good for it. They only have 1-star Swain. They don't seem to have Dragonmancer 6 in, which is what you want if you're going to play through Swain. So yeah, we just cut through that board pretty effortlessly. And it does, of course, help having Corki on the board this quickly already. So yeah, that person, the Moth 1, is win streaking off of having the Nidalee with the double Rage Blade. But again, it does not look like they're planning to play that long term, just because they're already level 6 max gold, and you would not, if you were trying to 3-star the Nidalee, you would not be level 6 max gold. Just would not make any sense to do that. But overall, once again, it's a pretty successful stage 3. I only lost the 1 round. Again, unfortunately, I've not been able to go on the big win streak at any point in time, but still in pretty good shape here. And I see that there's double Lee Sins in the store. I was like, you know what? I should just pick up these Lee Sins because I might hit Ornn. If I would hit Ornn, then I would replace Skarner with Ornn. And then I would play Lee Sin for Tempest traits. So I was like, all right, let's just pick up the Lee Sins. Why not? Doesn't really hurt us. It costs, I think, like 1 gold in terms of income to do that, but I should get some more gold here as well. And then look what I'm going to get here. I'm going to get double swords. I was like, oh, double swords. Okay, well, that gives me some possibilities. And then I just ran them into the 2-star Lee Sin naturally. So I was like, okay, all right, well, we'll just play this Lee Sin randomly. And I'm going to go ahead. I could make Deathblade here, but I actually think I want Infinity Edge for Corki. And then I think I want to use this Tear and this sword for a Spear of Shojin. Now, I don't really have a great user of this right now. I guess it could be on Jinx. It wouldn't be terrible on Jinx, but I'm just going to put this on the Lee Sin right now because, like, why not? We'll just play the 2-star Lee Sin, give him a Shojin so he casts a little bit more often, and that's going to be a very good item on Sona later on. So Lee will just hold this item for Sona, and we'll get whatever value we can for the Lee Sin right now. All right, so I am up against the person playing Nidalee, but they're kind of playing straight Astral here. Normally for Nidalee reroll, you want to play Nidalee with more Shapeshifter units, and the Nidalee actually is going to die really fast. Again, that's because Corki has just awesome itemization. The Giant Slayer is just going to be magnificent against all these 3-star units. And just in general, Giant Slayer has been a very strong item in this patch because people are playing so many dragons. The dragons get lots of health, and Giant Slayer cuts through that. So last augment is Prismatic for this game. By the way, tons of Xayahs. I could have, of course, potentially looked to move into Xayah, but I feel like it's a little bit late to move into Xayah. I've got the +1 Cannoneer. I don't think I could be able to play Namzi if I would go over to a Xayah comp. So even though I am tempted by the double Xayahs in the shop, and these would be perfectly fine items on Xayah as well, I am going to not end up playing Xayah, even though I have the double Xayah shot, which I would have killed for in a bazillion other games. All right, here I'm checking to see what people are taking with their Prismatic Augment. I see this person taking level up. I don't think that makes any sense at all. They're level 7, 0 gold. That makes no sense. So I think that's a waste of a Prismatic. This person has Prismatic Stand United. That's always a good choice. One person's taken Radiant Relic. They've taken the what is it, the Jeweled Gauntlet. I don't think that makes any sense. And this other person has also taken Level Up. I don't think Level Up is very good to take for your third Prismatic Augment. I think it's good for the first one. Do think it's much more questionable as the third choice. And this person having 0 gold, I don't see how they ever get any use out of Level Up. They have no gold. How are they going to level up? So they're basically just down to Prismatic Augment. That doesn't make any sense for them. I instead have gotten Prismatic Celestial, which is just fantastic. I always think that this is a very good late game augment. It's not great for your first Prismatic choice, but for your third Prismatic, oh boy, this one's great because it's basically like everyone has a Bloodthirster for healing. Like, look at that shield on Corki. I have not itemized any healing on Corki, so this is basically just going to give him, as I said, kind of a Bloodthirster for free. And of course, it applies to every other unit as well, so they'll also be stacking up additional healing. Now look at this shop here. I get a Siphon and a Shioyu in the shop. So I was like, ooh, do I want to play one of these units? Or I can't play both. I'm going to have to decide. I was like, you know what? Let's just buy both of them right now. And then I'll roll down. I'm going to roll down on level 8, see what I hit, and I'll just pick to play one of these two units. By the way, the person who was playing the Nidalee with double Bloodthirsters earlier, the person who's on the long win streak, the Moth 1, they've apparently decided they're going to play a Siphon Whispers board. So I was like, oh, okay. And they've moved one of their Rage Blades over to the Siphon, and then they're going to put the other Rage Blade on one of the other units in their comp. So that's going to be problematic long term. So we'll have to figure out how to deal with that board. In this fight, I'm hitting someone who I did not position for correctly. They put a Kiana right on top of Corki, and Corki would have just died, except he's got that Celestial healing. So Prismatic Celestial to the rescue. Look at that health bar refilling here. Otherwise, he would have died to the Kiana and then died to the Ornn ultimate. But nope, he's able to heal and survive thanks to having that augment. So very, very happy with how the augments have played out in this game. And I think I've been able to get very good value out of all of them. So I'm actually on a 5-match winning streak right now. And then we're going to look to roll it down at level 8, see what we can hit, and try to get into our final team composition from here. So at this point, I do not need more items on Corki. He's fully itemized. So now I'm really looking for frontline items. And again, I see that there's this Ornn here. I was like, is someone going to let me take an Ornn with a chain vest? It's like, yes, apparently they are, even though I'm third pick once again. So I'm very happy with that. And being 2 HP less than this other player, the Moth 1, has allowed me to get a sword off Carousel and get a vest off Carousel on an Ornn. So I'm just going to straight up replace the Skarner with Ornn, and then we'll just make a Sunfire. Very happy with that. Now we want to go to level 9, and I'm going to go ahead and look to roll. And I decided I would play the Shioyu, which by the way is a mistake in the way I did this. I should have rolled first and then decided, because I'm actually seeing more Siphons, and I think I might have ended up playing Siphon if I had known. Like, I definitely should have rolled down first and then sold that unit, not sold it and then rolled down. So I did that in the reverse order. I'm mostly just rolling and trying to find Corki 2 here. I'm not going to find it, and that's disappointing. I also have to reposition the Jade statue. So I'm actually pretty happy with how my board is set up here. 4 Cannoneer, 3 Revel, 3 Jade, 2 Bruiser, 2 Mystic, 2 Trainer. That's pretty good. But I do need to reposition that Jade statue because it will give Corki additional attack speed if I put it next to him. I get a little bit lucky here in that the Siphon initially charges away from Corki, but then he will ultimately end up over on the other side. So it's Corki against Siphon, but Siphon's going to win that fight. And this is kind of the issue in this particular patch. People have been playing the Shioyu and the Siphon, but the biggest issue in this patch has been that hitting 1-star versions of these dragons just spikes your board a little bit too hard. By the way, I'm finally going to hit Tristana 2. That's the first Trist I've seen literally the entire game. I have 2 out of 3 Corkis, so I'm just trying to roll to hit this Corki 2-star, but I'm not seeing it. And although I do have the option to play Idas, I think I'd just rather play the Shioyu instead, kind of like having the Mystic trait in, and Shioyu is quite strong in this patch. So to get back to my point from earlier, some of the dragons have just stabilized you way too hard on 1-star versions of the dragons, and you kind of saw that in that last fight when that person just has 1-star Siphon, but the 1-star Siphon just carried really, really hard in the fight anyway. That person had very good items for Siphon. They had, I think, Bloodthirster plus Rageblade plus Titans, which are generally seen as being the best items to run on that champion. And even though it's just a 1-star version of the champion, it spikes your board really, really, really hard to get a 1-star version of them. We didn't really see a lot of people doing that in this game, but what people have generally been doing is just going all in on level 7, because if you can't hit one of the dragons on level 7, then you just kind of get run over by the people who do. And like, you don't need the 2-star version, just a 1-star version of the dragon stabilizes you super duper hard. And you generally have not been able to be as greedy as I have been in this game and just econ. So I'm looking at these items here. I was like, you know what? I'm actually pretty happy with these items. So I've got the pieces for an Archangel's Staff, and I've already got the Spear of Shojin. That'll be good on the Sona. So we're just going to straight up replace the Jinx with Sona, make the Spear of Shojin. We'll go ahead and make the Archangel's Staff, and then that gives me a Zephyr to play around with. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on Ornn, and the goal is going to be to Zephyr out a frontline tank in these fights. So yep, I'm just going to move these units around here. Again, I want the Corki to be next to the Jade statue. It does provide some minor healing, but the main thing is just to give the attack speed. I think it's like 20% attack speed at Jade 3, and then we'll go ahead and hold here until after the next round. The one issue I have is that I have not found 2-star Corki yet, and I actually kind of forgot that I hadn't hit 2-star Corki. I actually stopped rolling here because I thought that I had hit the 2-star Corki, but no, he's still just a 1-star unit. I hit one Corki at 2% odds at level 5, and then I have gotten one other one, but I have not found the third Corki yet. So my luck's been really good in some regards, in the sense that I hit that Corki at low odds, but I have not managed to hit Corki 2-star just yet. So I actually do need to roll a bit more. With me only being on Corki 1-star, I don't think I'm in a good enough shape to try to go level 9 off this. I think I need to hit the 2-star Corki to stabilize, just to be on the safe side. Now, if I want to be super greedy, I could try to push 9 off this, but I think that I have too many 1-stars. 1-star Sona, 1-star Ornn, 1-star Corki, 1-star Shioyu. Think that I need to upgrade some of these units, so I do think I need to roll a little bit more gold here. Although overall, I am in pretty good shape still. I'm very healthy, and my board is in good position. I just need to 2-star some of these units and then look to go from there. So this is a close fight. Can we manage to clutch this out against the Xayah? Oh! Corki dies, but Xayah dies at the same time, and Tristana is the only one left standing. Pretty happy to win that, because that person had already gone all in. All right, so now I'm going to look to roll it down and try to find these missing units. Again, I'm going to find the Sona, but I'm still looking for Corki. There's the Sona again, and there's another Lulu. But I still really do want that last Corki. I think that that'll stabilize my board. And I'm seeing a lot of Idases, and then I get double Shioyu, so I was like, oh, well, that's good. But I still haven't found Corki. I've kind of found everything other than Corki. I guess I technically need to find Ornn as well. But I'm feeling pretty good about this, and now I'm going to try to reposition my Zephyr, and looky what we got here. I got your 3-star Nunu, haha. So if you're wondering what the Mirage variant is for this game, it's actually Warlord. That is, you get additional health and additional ability power for winning repeated combats. But I managed to get the Nunu, who's actually one of the 2 big threats in this board. Obviously, Deja is the other threat, but since I have a frontline Zephyr on Ornn, it's a little bit harder for me to position it to hit the Deja in the back lines. But we're going to be able to, just barely win this. Once again, it's like a repeat of the last fight. It's just the Tristana alive there at the end of this. So I was like, all right. So I still haven't hit Corki yet. Kind of amazing I haven't hit the Corki yet, but I didn't like the way that my positioning was in that fight. I wanted to get Sona into better position, even if that means giving up some of the Jade statue benefit. Now I'm going to be up against the person playing Siphon, and it increasingly looks like the strongest players in this lobby are the person who's playing Siphon, and the person that we just hit, the person who's playing Mirage. So I'm going to try to position my Zephyr to hit this Siphon, but this person's on top of it. This person did reposition their Siphon at the last minute in order to dodge that Zephyr. So that's not going to work there. It is still just a 1-star Siphon. They have 2 out of 3 Siphons. They appear to be out of gold right now, though, so they're probably not going to be getting too much more income. But you have to expect that they're going to hit the 2-star Siphon at some point in time. In the meantime, though, Corki's still alive. He's still cutting away. Has that Giant Slayer, which is really good against a lot of these Dragon units. Can he finish off this Elise? Yes! And we're going to be able to win that round. One thing that's good against this player is they did take Windfall for their Prismatic Augment, and they've already spent their Windfall money. So they're basically down a Prismatic Augment now, and that is very good news because I've got Prismatic Celestial for healing, whereas they just got, 40 gold, and they've already spent that gold. So that's going to help me against that board long term. Now, I was hoping to get a Thief's Glove here. I really would like to put a Thief's Glove on the Shioyu, but I was like, oh, really? Really? There were 3 Thief's Gloves and they all got taken? Ugh. Well, that's not great, but I can, as a backup plan, take this Bloodthirster and put that on Shioyu. So I could just start itemizing the Shioyu, but it would have been nice just to be able to grab that via the Thief's Glove. And I'm rolling, I was like, man, can I find this Corki? And yes, finally, I'm able to find the Corki. Considering that no one is playing Corki in the lobby, like literally no one in the lobby is playing this unit, it's kind of shocking it took that many rolls for me to find this unit. All right, in any case, though, I'm going to reposition here. I'm going to try to hit one of the key units on this board. And it looks like I'm not going to be able to get my Zephyr repositioned to hit the Zaya, but I think the positioning is pretty good here. We got the Hecarim, who for some reason has a Warlord emblem. I don't know what's up with that. But we managed to hit the Hecarim, which was their top frontline unit. We dodged the Kiana, who is dashing into the backlines. They're going to get very good value out of that second win, but look where Sona is positioned. Sona is hitting the key units, hitting the Zaya on the other board. Now, of course, there's a Quicksilver Sash, but it's ultimately not going to be enough. And guess what? Sona does the most damage in that fight. Yeah, she did more damage than Corki in that particular fight. And then my Ghost is going to win around against the person who's trying to roll for Swain 3. So we're in good shape. Now we just need to go to level 9. And ideally, we just go to level 9, play Bard, and that's our board. Because everything other than Ornn is 2-starred. And I think we're in pretty good shape there. All right, so we know, by the way, we know who we're going to hit. Whenever there's exactly 4 people in the lobby, you know who you're going to hit. And I believe it's the Mirage player that we're up against this round. Yeah, it's the Mirage player. So I'm going to try to hit their Nunu with the Zephyr again. But more importantly, I'm going to put Sona over here on the right-hand side so that her ults are constantly hitting Deja. And also so that Deja is not pointed at my Corki. Let's see, they do manage to dodge the Zephyr, so that's good on them. They repositioned, so Nunu did not get Zephyred. But look at Sona's ultimate. Sona's just in perfect position here. She's hitting the entire board. She's got the Shojin to cast more often, the Archangel, so she's scaling up. And she's a really serious damage threat in her own right. So I kind of have 3 threats on my comp right now. I have the Corki, who's of course kind of the main damage dealer. I've got Sona as like my secondary carry. And then Shioyu is turning into kind of a carry as well. And I am benefiting from the fact that no one else is playing Shioyu in this lobby, which is quite rare, considering how popular this unit is. And oh, by the way, there's Bard. So now we just need to get to level 9, and we can play the Bard as well, and then that'll cap out our board. So I'm definitely benefiting from the fact that other people are not playing Shioyu in this lobby. It allowed me to hit the 2-star version easier. I now have gotten a Dragon's Claw, and I'll just put that on Shioyu as well. It's a good item on her. It's going to make her tankier. When you're running her as the main carry, you would not put this on her because it is a tank item. But for my setup here, where she's kind of like the 3rd carry, as well as being additional frontline, it's actually a very nice item. It's going to give her a lot of additional survivability. And of course, it also is going to provide that health regen. All right, so right now, again, we're just looking to econ up to level 9. And I know who I'm going to be up against. It's going to be the Whispers player. They have managed to hit the 2-star Siphon, so that is the big unit I need to watch out for. So I'm going to try to position here. I was like, all right, let's try to put Corki over here in this corner, get the Shioyu over here, and let's maybe try to box up. Unfortunately, Siphon likes to dash in the back lines and take a chomp out of your carry units. But I think that this is pretty good. I was trying to hit this with the Zephyr, but I think I missed the Zephyr in this fight. Yes, I missed the Zephyr. I need to be one more tile over. And by the way, watch this. Oh, Thresh Hook. Yeah, I forgot that this person was playing Thresh, which makes total sense because they're running a Whispers comp. I think they actually have Whispers 6 in right now. But, oh, man, those Thresh Hooks. Corki's going to get Thresh Hooked once. He's going to get Thresh Hooked the second time. And it's actually not the Siphon that's winning this fight. It's actually the Thresh that has won this fight for this other player. So, yeah, I'm going to lose this one. It looks like a bad loss, and I guess it is because I take 18 damage. But I mostly lost that fight because of Thresh. So I think if I can position around the Thresh, then I'll be in a position to handle that comp next time. Now I'm going to be up against the Warlord comp. Or the Warlord. They have Warlord trait on Mirage, and I think that I have a better matchup with this person. I've actually been beating this board every single time I've been up against it. So I'm going to try to get that Zephyr to hit the Nunu, and then Sona's position to hit the back line. So I'm very happy with how Sona's set up. And let's try to see if they move their Nunu in time. And it's like, oh, Well, it was a ghost round. So no, they didn't move Nunu, but they didn't move Nunu because they weren't positioning for me. They were positioning for the other player. By the way, there's some other wonky bugs when it comes to the ghost rounds. I think that there's various things that don't always carry over properly. Getting a ghost round often is somewhat of an easier matchup, not just because of the positioning, but because there's like buggy stuff that doesn't carry over in the way that it is supposed to. But we're going to win this round pretty easily, and that's a good sign. We're not going to do any damage, but we avoid taking damage. And oh, look what happened in the ghost round. The Mirage player actually ended up beating the Siphon player, the Whispers player. So that's good news for me because I think the Whispers team is a worse matchup for me. But we're now going to hit that person in this round. So I was like, all right, I know who I'm going to be up against. Let's try to position here. So we're going to try to see if we can get this Zephyr to hit on their Siphon, which is their key carry unit. And the other big thing is we need to dodge the thresh hook. So we're going to move there, and there. So at the last second, I'm going to reposition. Did I manage to dodge the thresh hook? Yes. Did I manage to hit the Zephyr? Yes, we did. So that is some good last second positioning. Lulu can absorb that hook. That's just fine. We don't really care if she's going to get hooked by Thresh. I've got the Shi-OU in excellent position. And oh, look at this Siphon. The CC train is going to get knocked up. He's going to get polymorphed. He's going to get Sona ulted. And yep, we are able to handle that unit no problems. And that's going to be a win, largely off of positioning. So a great example of how positioning can change from round to round. Now, for whatever reason, that player looks like they might actually be AFK for no clear reason. Maybe that's why I was able to get this positioning advantage against them, because they have a gold orb on their board that they're not picking up. So I think that they're just AFK, which is kind of sad, but whatever. I can't do anything about that. I mean, if they're going to stand away from their computer, there's nothing I can do. So it sounds like we did get a bit of an advantage there, but I'll take it. And as far as on this carousel, I'm going to take the Death Cap because that's a perfect last item for Sona. And now Sona is like a real unit in her own right. These are pretty much perfect items for Sona. I don't know if you could really get anything better for her than this. The Shojin plus the Death Cap plus the Archangel Staff is just about as good as you can possibly do. All right, so now she is going to be kicking butt in her own right. And I'm going to try once again to position for the Mirage comp. I will try to hit their Nunu. I'm expecting that they're going to move at the last second, and they do. So that's, again, not a shocker, but I've got Sona in perfect position. Sona is dealing just crazy damage right now, and she's pointed right at the Deja. I think I'm going to check. She's dealing 675 magic damage, so more than double her base damage. And, of course, she's applying Revel trait on all of her ults as well. So, yeah, Corki is safe. Sona is safe. And we're just cutting through this team without too much trouble. Looks like we're quite a bit stronger than this person. So we're going to knock them down to one hit. And the Mirage player, or excuse me, the Siphon player actually got knocked out of the lobby. So I'm just rolling. I'm trying to hit Orin 2-star. Also looking for Bard. Not having a lot of luck. It looks like this might be the last round of the game. And yeah, wow, I really did not have much luck finding Orin in this game, did I? So I was like, all right. This is the last person in the lobby. So let's reposition here. And I had an idea of what I wanted to do. I'm going to keep every unit in the same spot, except, you know what? I'm not hitting the Nunu with my Zephyr. So you know what we can do? Why don't we just try to put our Zephyr on the Deja instead? Hey, if we're not going to be able to get Nunu because they keep repositioning Nunu, how about we hit Deja instead? Whoops! Well, there goes all your damage from your backline threat. I actually think the Nunu is the more dangerous unit right now. Just because it has so much health, it can chomp units. But yeah, we're going to get the Deja, and then this is going to turn into a very easy victory. I haven't even mentioned the fact that Namzi was all the way up to 4 stars. Namzi has become a real unit in its own right as well. And even though this person has a Tactician's Crown on their bench, so they get to play +1 unit, it's not going to matter. We win very easily, and that's going to be the end of this game. So, as I said, overall, not a crazy game. Like, nothing out of the ordinary, just another Corki game, but I was happy with how this one came together. Thought that I made very good use of the augments. I mean, it was a bit of a high roll, particularly finding the Corki at 2% odds, but I do think I played well. As I said, made good use of the augments, made some good positioning decisions, and made good use of the items in the late game. So once again, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed watching this game, and there'll be some more TFT content coming soon. Until then, take care, folks, and have a good week.